So Duke, man, you know what happened to the family unity?
Man, this a major that's a good question, man. I think when I look back, when I think about unity, I look back on when I was a kid coming up. Everybody was together. It seemed like it was no worries, a lot of good times, food. You just had that family pride, and it was good to go to grandma's. It was good for everybody to get together in the cookouts, and you see all your cousins and play, and those were good times. And I was raised on family. My family's pretty big, which y'all know, on both sides. A lot of aunties, a lot of uncles, and that family unity, man, for not only for me but for the black culture, man, is faded. Uh, we've gotten away from grandma and grandpa's teaching. We've gotten away from you know that oneness. I think a lot of it is the distractions of the world. A lot of it is prayer. We're not praying and coming together like we used to. And now in today's time, the funerals are the family reunions. You know,
Hmm.
and
Say that.
so a lot of people are, when something tragic happened, that's when y'all everybody want to get together and and come together as one. But it's too late then. Uh,
Mm.
and so I just believe in the old way. I think we've gotten away from uh, the roots, the foundation that grandma and them put down in us, grandpa. Uh, and it was pride. We took great pride in being strong and standing together. And
Right.
so now I think more people are, everybody just kind of do their own thing. And, the grandmas and the grandpas are gone a lot in most cases, and the grandmas and grandpas. And I think this newer age, this newer generation, we done went away from it. And it's a sad thing, man, because family is everything. Family is all a man got. And if you don't take pride in nothing, and in life, you should be able to go to your family and know they gonna have your back. But sometimes, in most cases, that you go to a friend before you go to family, or you go to your friend, and it's just sad. But we need to get back to what worked. It was good then, it's good now, and ain't nothing new under the sun. And so
Right.
I just believe that family unity is something that we didn't forsaken, we didn't gave up on and gotten away from. And uh, a family that stays together prays together. And I think we need to
Right.
get back on our knees and put our differences aside. And I know I mentioned forgiveness and forgiving. A lot of us still holding on to things that we should have been let go. And that's how grandma and them would do it. You talk your differences out, you deal with it, y'all hug, and at the end of the day, we blood, we love each other, and we move on. So I think that prayer is the basis of that. I mean, we've gotten away from it, and no leaders, nobody's really leading.
That's
So
true.
so that's
That's
what I think, man. And man, I pray not only for my family and my friends, and we could get the families back together. I mean, we could all work. Now, I'm not saying everything's bad with family, because my family's pretty tight, but it could be better. And in most cases, for all of us as a culture.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yes.
that's good stuff, man. It just seems like people have given up on what family actually really means. So many times, like Duke was saying that, and it's not really an excuse, but the way the world is going is moving so fast that a lot of people don't sit down or a lot of people don't stop and just go back to the way things used to be, where you sit down as a family, once or twice a week just to talk, find out what's happening, what's going on, or, sit down to eat for dinner. I mean,
Mm.
just small things like that. It's gone away from that. And by that happening, there's not a lot of, um, knowledge of what's really happening sometime in people's own households, which translates into other things that go on and happen in the world. I think, as Duke said as well, one has to take pride in the family. Your name means something. Not just for the fact of you somebody's child or you part of that family. It means something. Like, you know what, I know that anytime you go out in this world and you do something, you represent the name, and that name is your family. So you gotta really, people need to stop and really focus on what matters. And like you say, that's, if you don't have nothing else, and we know how ugly this world can be and how things can go in jobs, how things can go in friendships, how things can go with businesses, you need a support system. You need a strong support system. And the family reunions and the just going over to grandma's house, or these matriarchs who are in the family that kind of held things together, they're no longer there no more. And it doesn't seem like anybody wants to step up. And it's not only hurting the the idea of what family is, but even these kids that we have growing up, we want to make sure that they understand how important that is. And family was what helped teach you who you are and helped you become who you are, and your values, your morals, and what you stand for. And so it's sad to see, honestly, that um, one can continue to get so caught up in his worldly ways that forget about what's most important. And I think what we found now, since March, or since COVID hit, and how things have changed, when you can't go and be around family, you can't see the people you want to like you used to or love. And it's that's hard. That's
Talk,
hard, because now you had the opportunity to, when this stuff wasn't going on, and then now that it's going on, you can't. You know, it's really no room to feel bad, because you had an opportunity. And so hopefully within this time now, people have taken time to, just if nothing else, pick the phone up, let me call and just check on everybody, see how they doing. You got too many avenues out there with social media that you can see and get in touch with family. Take advantage of it, because as we know, tomorrow ain't promised. Time is short, man. And the last thing we want to do is leave this earth holding a regret that I didn't say, "Hey, how you doing?" And I'm speak personally, even for people in my family that I could reach out to, or just see how they doing. But they also run into the issue of, like, well, they can call me too, or they can check on me
Uh,
too. At a point in
mhm,
time, we gotta, and I'm talking to myself as well. You got to get past that. You got
right.
to realize that
right.
that's one thing that you can't get back, is that time, that love, that family. I mean, you think about us in the Black community, we really don't have a true, um, I don't know if heritage is the word, but we don't have anything for ourselves. I mean, just if you look back in the slave days, I mean, they were tight knit. It was only them. If we have that mindset and that want to love each other, love our folks, make sure you do it. That's the only thing I say on that. But yeah, family unity, that it does hurt, man. The fact that there's so many families that don't don't talk to each other, don't see each other. And again, time is short, and we're losing people on a daily basis, man. So it's a huge issue. And I hope, and then first of all, thank you, Thomas and Duke, all, choosing this topic, because it's important, um, that we carry something on, and make sure people within our family realize how important it is. Appreciate that.
So
That was solid. Uh, I mentioned on one of our previous episodes that I felt when the matriarch dies, then that's when the family dies. Uh, and I still feel that way. I think to me, from my experience, I think that's the number one thing that happens in the black community. Also, you have envy and jealousy, something that shouldn't happen, but it does. Uh, and Dub and John, y'all pretty much said it all, just to be honest with you. Um, but my daddy would tell me about, and I mentioned this before too, about back in the segregation days, how family was together. Uh, Not just your family, but the whole family on the whole block was together. When one person would kill a hog and cut it up, they would take meat down to each household and share it. If your child acted a fool, the whole block with the child. That's why they say it takes a village to raise a child. And something happened, right? There became a war on the black family. Um, and it is what it is. When you take away segregation, which us never lived through that, we look back on it and say, man, how could I have lived through that, right? So me and my wife will have those conversations. Just say back in the day they didn't have air conditioning, right? She's like, oh, I couldn't live like that. I say, well, if that's all you knew, then it wouldn't be no difference. That's what you in, right? So we look back on it and say, well, all right, we can we can go where we want, so to speak. We can do what we want. We can mingle with whoever we want. But in the process of that, it tore our family unity down. So you might say, well, man, what you talking about? Well, when we integrated, we start wanting to do what other people do. Then you got all these laws and the cocaine and the crack come in the neighborhood. That takes away the father figure because now they locking him up because he's trying to go out here and provide for the family. Now the family is gone. That's why you got so many single mothers out here nowadays. And that's just messing up our family. You know. So that's just my thought on that. So have was y'all families just real tight?
Yeah. Uh, Coming up, at least I saw it that way through pure eyes, and being innocent as a kid. It was nice. It was, all the stuff that we endured and encountered, all the hardships, all the problems. Even with all of that, our family was still our family. We were solid. We had each other's back, and not saying that we don't anymore, but you can tell things have changed. You
Right,
you could even when you look at the holiday, the seasons, man, we look forward to the seasons and holiday time because we knew nothing else. We are gonna all be together. But
yes, sir.
but now it's Thanksgiving is coming up. It's no one meeting place. You know, everybody cooking. Everybody, you gotta stop by. And I remember traveling and coming home and I want to see everybody. You gotta. I got a big family.
Right,
you know, in the teens when it come to aunties and uncles, I can't see everybody. Coming home,
right,
you go to everybody's house. You can't just stop and eat and leave, and it's just different, man. So I look at it like times have changed, and it's just different. It's real different. You don't feel it. You don't feel it all the time.
right.
So I got a little different outlook on, coming up. And so I don't even know if I really understood, like, I knew what family was, what it meant, but it took some time to start gaining friends and realize, like, sometimes other families do things like family reunions. I can honestly say my family has never had a family reunion. Usually the family reunion was a funeral,
Mm.
Christmas, Thanksgiving. And so as I grew and learned, it's like, man, it's important to, with my family, is I want to be able to instill certain things in my kids so that when they go on and have kids and be like, listen, no matter what, make sure that your family try to get together on birthdays, Christmas, Thanksgiving, have something once a year. Maybe you take a trip. Maybe it's just something small, but at least do something just to keep that unity together and that touch and that reach with other family members. And I'm a change the subject just a little bit here, and Duke, just give me a second. Thomas and I, if nobody else knows, Thomas and I are brothers. Uh, I'm about 3 years older than Thomas, but Thomas and I have always known each other. We got the same dad. We've always known of each other, played sports, but not until just recently he and I had a conversation, and it was like, there's no reason that he and I shouldn't be closer than what we were. And then we've never had any ill will, we've never had any issues, none of that. His mom treats me just as a son, as like how she would him. So that's nothing against it. It's just it's important that we spend time and understand we both have families, we have kids. These kids grow up, they grow up so fast, man. It's important to try to be a part. And so, like, when I look at the family unity, I mean, this is another perfect example of, like, look, we talk on a weekly basis, sometimes 2-3 times a week, whereas prior to, we just didn't. It was always some sort of staying in touch with social media, but it wasn't until this kind of platform. And so that's why another reason I appreciate this topic coming up, because it also gives me an opportunity to now spend more time with my brother. It ain't no fact that he a younger brother. It ain't no, he ain't the same blood. No, he's my brother. His family, his wife, his kids, they're my nephews, my sister-in-law, my niece. That's just that's important. And no matter what time you find that, you can still do it. But you have to have a will and a want to do it. And like I said, that's why I think sometimes we lose the family unity, because I don't think people put enough effort into it. I'm not speaking for everybody. These are all my opinions. So please don't shoot the messenger, but this is just what I see.
Uh, Man, great minds think alike. Cause I was gonna speak on that myself. What you just said, and yeah, thanks to us doing this, and like you said, we would conversate maybe once every 3 months, 4 months, something like that, But now it's at least 3 times a week basis. So, uh, you know, sometimes it's a blessing in disguise. Uh, you mentioned like the family reunions, and I thought about something. On my mother's side, we used to have a family reunion every. It was on May 5th, uh, and my grandma had we call it a beer joint, in the country,
Up in bonus.
yeah. So we would go there every weekend, really, and that might not be great for a kid, but and that's kind of was the family gathering spot. Uh, and like I say, every summer in May we have a family reunion. I mean, and man, it was the highlight. You know, you knew when that April hit, you knew that May hit, man. You knew I'm about to see my cousins. We gonna play. We gonna have a good time and enjoy each other. So uh, once my grandma died,
Hmm.
I think we might have had two, and it's just not the same. When I first got with my wife, they had a family reunion. I only been to one of those, and she told me prior to that they used to have them all the time. But guess what? Infighting. I did this, you didn't do that, you didn't help on this.
Yeah.
So now you say, fuck it, we ain't doing nothing. And that's what's hurting us. You know, we just can't put differences aside. And I want to say this: I always admire a family that sticks together.
Hmm.
So uh, I would see the Joneses. They lived on the end of my block. Man, they stick together. I mean, I ain't never heard of them talking about one another. No infighting. They go and party together. No issues, and I always admire that because my family's sorry. Just keeping it a buck. Uh, man, like I said, my grandma died, and then because she was here, that made them get right.
Yeah.
They had to come out to the country because my grandma, she was the type that if she come to your house, she ready to get back out to the country. That's what she wanted to be. So uh, most of the time we would go out there, have a good time, and those are memories you can't forget, you can't replace them. Um, and now, man, you can't. I say, well, we doing Thanksgiving at my house where they hollering COVID. I mean, come on now. You going to work, you doing other stuff,
Hmm.
and but before COVID, it just wasn't no unity, man. It's I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. No, I can't come, I can't do that. But and one thing before I let it go, me and my wife, we talking, we be like, man, our kids just are missing out on the experiences that we had growing up for us the family wise because now my kids don't know all their cousins.
Man.
We don't
Man.
get together. Even my wife's family, when we first got together, every month they was doing something, and even that's then study falling by the wayside. So, man, that family is important, and you got to take time out your schedule to make sure that you let your loved ones know that you love them. Because uh, one
Fact.
day you're here and the next day you're gone. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Fact.
yeah. And I
So
know Duke. I know your family was close, man.
Yeah.